All right, let's talk about something that might completely change how you use your phone. It's called voice access. And seriously, forget everything you think you know about voice assistants. This is on a whole different level. We're talking total hands-free control. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. Have you ever been there? Your hands are covered in flour while you're trying to follow a recipe, or maybe you're outside wearing those super thick winter gloves, or, and this is the worst, you drop your phone and the screen just shatters. Yep, in any of those situations, it's the same story, right? Your phone, with all your stuff on it, basically turns into a useless brick. You can see the screen, but you can't touch it. You can't do anything. So, this is what we're going to call the untouchable screen problem. And look, it's not just a small annoyance. For a lot of people, this is a huge accessibility hurdle they face every single day. Now, you might think, hey, what about my phone's voice assistant? Well, there's a pretty big catch. And here is the absolute key difference. Your standard assistants, like Siri or the basic Google Assistant, they hit a brick wall. They can do simple stuff like open Gmail. But ask them to tap the Compose button inside the app? No way. Or hit checkout when you're shopping? Forget about it. Voice access, though, it's completely different. It can literally see and interact with everything on your screen. So the big question is, how does it actually do that? Well, the whole concept is to make your voice your finger. I mean, quite literally. It's a total paradigm shift from just giving basic commands to, directly manipulating what's on the screen. Okay, so the magic behind this is what's called a UI layer overlay. Basically, the app scans your screen in a split second and slaps a tiny number next to every single thing you can interact with. Every button, every link, every app icon. All you have to do is say the number out loud, and bam, the phone thinks you just tapped it. It sounds so simple, but it's unbelievably powerful. Right, so these numbered labels are method number one. It's the main way you'll use it. But what happens when there's something on the screen that doesn't have a clear label for the app to find? What then? Yeah, think about it. Maybe you're playing a game, or you're in some app where the buttons are just pictures with no text or code behind them. A regular voice assistant would be totally lost. It would just give up. But voice access? Oh, it has this absolutely brilliant trick up its sleeve. This is where we get into the real power user territory. For anything that's unlabeled, voice access pulls out its secret weapon, the grid system. And honestly, this feature is what makes it stand out from literally everything else. And the way it works is just genius. You just say, show grid. Instantly, a grid with numbers covers your whole screen. You look at where you want to tap, say the number of that square, and poof, the grid zooms right into that area, giving you a new, more detailed grid. You can just keep doing that, drilling down farther and farther until you can tap the exact pixel you want. What this means is you're no longer at the mercy of app developers. It doesn't matter if they labeled a button or not. With the grid, you have pixel-perfect precision. You can hit that tiny play button in some weird video app or a custom icon in a photo editor. Suddenly, absolutely nothing on your screen is untouchable anymore. And, this tool didn't just appear overnight. It's been evolving. It started way back in 2015. And back then, it was pretty much all about those numbered overlays. Then in 2020, we got this huge machine learning update, which let it understand more natural stuff, like just saying tap search. But now we're looking at the future, and there's this big elephant in the room that everyone's worried about, Gemini. What happens when Google's new AI takes over? Yeah, Google's been pretty clear that Gemini is going to completely replace the old assistant. So, understandably, a lot of people who rely on voice access are, they're worried. Is this incredible tool just gonna stop working? And that's the question I see all over the place online. And it's a totally fair question, right? We've all seen great features get abandoned during big updates. But here's the good news. That fear comes from a slight misunderstanding of what voice access is at its core. See, the most important thing to understand is that voice access isn't just some random app you download. It's an accessibility service. That means it's baked deep into the Android operating system itself. A great way to think about it is this. Gemini is like the new smart receptionist at the front desk. Voice access is the expert engineer working in the back. They have completely different specialized jobs. So that's the new dynamic. They're not fighting for the same job. They're working together. You'll be able to say, hey, Google, turn on voice access. And Gemini, the smart receptionist, will just say, got it, and pass that command straight to the engineer. Voice access to handle the heavy lifting. They're designed to be a team. Okay, so now that we've cleared that up, Voice access is safe, it's not going anywhere. Let's talk about how to go from just basic tapping to really, truly mastering your phone completely hands-free. And this is where it gets really, really cool. I mean, dictating a text message is one thing, right? But trying to edit that text with just your voice has always been a total nightmare. Well, with voice access, you get this whole library of editing commands. You can say stuff like delete the last word, or replace meeting today with meeting tomorrow, or even select the first paragraph. And if someone walks in the room, you just say stop listening, have your chat, and then turn it back on. It's amazing. So when you boil it all down, that's the main takeaway. This isn't just about tapping a few buttons. This is about taking back complete control. Your voice stops being just for calls. It becomes your finger, your mouse, and your keyboard, all rolled into one. And that really just leaves us with one final question to think about. Once you remove the physical barrier of needing to touch a screen, what kind of new possibilities does that open up for you? Now that your voice can be your finger, your mouse, and your keyboard, what are you going to build with that?